So we're going to go through all of that here shortly, but first let's take a look at the Online Monologue Festival website. And scroll up to the top here. Okie dokie. All right, so the Online Monologue Festival. Just to give you the about real quick, hashtag OMG, which I love that, by the way. The Online Monologue Festival is the first annual virtual monologue festival, a chance for actors to work on and share their craft with the world. Simply film and submit a 1 to 2 minute monologue to be entered for over $1,000 in prizes and recognition. But more importantly, it's your chance to share the art of acting. To find out how to enter and a list of prizes, click on the Festival Rules and Prizes tab at the top of the page. Entries will be posted on the hashtag OMG Facebook page and YouTube. Have fun, create, and share. And here's the email right here, omgfestivalinfo@gmail.com. So hopefully we'll give you some good tips for this video to enter the Online Monologue Festival and maybe just to help you out a little bit in the future. So here are some of their suggested resources: instantmonologues.com, theaterfolk.com, and dramanotebook.com. Theaterfolk is one of my favorite to use so far for my classroom and just for my own general knowledge. So let's dig into some monologues. And what we're going to be doing, no, we want to see, there we go. So we are going to be taking a look at 3 different monologues today. The Marriage of Bet and Boo by Christopher Durang from Daily Actor. This monologue from Theater Folk, This Phone 2.0, The Next Generation by Lindsay Price. And also this one, Josie from Somewhere Nowhere, also by Lindsay Price. So we'll be looking at these, and let's just get started, shall we? So we're going to look at this one first. We looked at it a little bit yesterday. The Marriage of Bet and Boo by Christopher Durang. So let's get that up on the screen. Still learning how to navigate this a little bit. There we go. All right, so now we should see what I'm looking at. Yay! For everyone trying to navigate the online world for the first time, you have my sympathies and my respect. This is definitely a difficult time for everybody, and we're all kind of just learning how to connect in new ways. So that is actually kind of exciting, though, just seeing how we can make new connections with people. And if you're a teacher out there, you know, you have my respect as well. A lot of people have learned how to do a lot of things online in a short amount of time. But anyways, let's take a look at Marriage of Bet and Boo. So we're going to just do a quick read through, and then we're going to pick out pieces that tell us more about the character, and also just pick out things that tell us more about the character's motivations and the environment that the character is in. So let's start here. So Bet is saying, "Hurry up, Boo, I want to use the shower." And then don't forget about your stage directions. Very, very important. Whenever I'm teaching, I always notice that we kind of tend to forget about the stage directions, and I go back and go, read what's in your parentheses. So don't forget about that. First, I was a tomboy. I used to climb trees and beat up my brother Tom. Then I used to try to break my sister Joni's voice box because she liked to sing. She always scratched me though, so instead I tried to play Emily's cello. Except I don't have a lot of musical talent, but I'm very popular. And I know more about the cello than people that don't know anything. I don't like the cello, it's too much work, and besides, keeping my legs open that way made me feel funny. I asked Emily if it made her feel funny, and she didn't know what I meant. And then when I told her, she cried for 2 whole hours and went to confession twice, just in case the priest didn't understand her the first time. Dopey Emily. She means well. Calls off stage. Booey, I'm pregnant. To the audience. Actually, I couldn't be because I'm a virgin. A married man tried to have an affair with me, but he was married, and so it would have been pointless. I didn't know he was married until 2 months ago. Then I met Booey, sort of on the rebound. He seems fine, though. Calls out, Booey! To audience. I went to confession about the cello practicing, but I don't think the priest heard me. He didn't say anything. He didn't give me a penance. I wonder if nobody was in there. But as long as your conscience is all right, then so is your soul. Calls, giddy, happy. Bowie, come on. So there's a lot to unpack in this particular monologue. So we'll just kind of quickly go over what's going on here. So let's get me out of the picture there. Okay. So the first thing I notice is things about her character. So she describes herself as a tomboy here. Used to climb up trees, beat up my brother Tom, tried to break my sister Joni's voice box because she liked to sing. That kind of tells us that she could be a very jealous character. Like maybe she wants the attention for herself. And that's actually supported by facts further down in the monologue. She always scratched me though. So instead, I tried to play Emily's cello. So let's look at that. Okay. I don't have a lot of musical talent, but I'm very popular. This tells me that she thinks pretty highly of herself, possibly self-centered, which again is supported by facts further down in the monologue. And I know more about cello than people who don't know anything. And then I don't like the cello; it's too much work. So it's just like she's trying to build herself up as someone who knows a lot and can do a lot, but in fact cannot. Let's see here. We can also see the relationship between her and Emily. She seems to be the one, Bet seems to be the one that gets in trouble a lot. Emily seems to probably be the good girl. So that also tells us more about her character and how we should play her. But here, when she's saying that she's dopey, but that she means well, that's also another clue to how she feels about things. She probably does see the good in other people around her, but she also has no problem making fun of them or calling them names. Let's see here. This whole passage kind of tells us about her relationship with other people as well. Bowie seems fine. It seems like she's not super enamored with Bowie. It's just more like he's more like a pastime. And then the confession about cello practicing. This does tell us something about her religion or her family's religion as far as going to confession. So more than likely she's Catholic. So that is also something to consider in characterizing her. If I wanted to do a full character and do costume and everything, I might think of wearing a Catholic school uniform or something like that. So there's lots of clues in the monologues that will tell you how to play the character and what to do. So let's look at another monologue now. Okay, we're going to look at this one called Josie. I have not seen this one yet. I gave a little bit of a read through, so we'll take a look at it and dissect it a little bit more. Let's see here. Okay, so this is again from theaterfolk.com. The play is called Somewhere Nowhere by Lindsay Price. We see here that it's a comedy. So, we're expecting funny stuff. Let's see here. And then the description, Josie prepares to run away from the small town that she hates so much. I feel like there would be a really interesting relationship between Josie and Bet if we got those two in the same room. So let's see here. We'll just go ahead and start. We'll just do a quick read and then go back and dissect all of the character stuff. All right. Josie says, "My idol." She kneels at Fee's feet. Teach me what you know. You have to. You've been there. You've done it. Sorry, my head. She makes a spinning gesture with her hand. Whew! Fast. My brain is going 1,000,000 miles a minute. I can't catch up. I've done this thing and I'm not sure at all what to do about it. She stands. I'm excited and terrified. These pauses are really important. And excited and terrified, back and forth. I don't know which side to land. I don't know what to feel or what to do, and there's the lack of sugar in general. Not now. Now I am on a boatload of sugar. I'm on a sugar rush like you would not believe. But in general, my grandmother doesn't allow sweets in the house. You never know how much you miss sugar until someone takes it away. And when I left the house, I emptied out the change jar and spent the whole thing on chocolate bars. So I am on a sugar rush like you would not believe. Sorry, I said that, but it's true because I ate them all, which would be way less pathetic if this were Willy Wonka and there was the potential of a golden ticket. But there's no ticket, nothing but a stomachache and a sugar rush like you would. Woo! Sorry, sugar. Woo! Today was the day, the end. The straw that broke the camel's back. Who knew camels had such weak backs? Today I left school. I drove out to Third Line. I sat in my car. I may have had a cigarette. It's not a crime. Not really. She thrust out four fingers. 4 people called my grandmother on me. 4 tattletales felt it was necessary to inform my grandmother about my activities. The Nelson sisters called her separately, except their calls were like 3 seconds apart, so you know they were sitting side by side, cackling with glee over it all. She imitates someone cackling with glee. Can't a person skip school and have a smoke without the whole world knowing? It's like everyone here is waiting for me to do something bad or get involved with insider trading, which, as poetic as that would be, daughter falls down the same well as parents, is practically impossible since I don't even know what that is. So if I'm not doing anything near as bad as that, why am I being spied on? Why? I thought I could stick it out. How bad could it be in the middle of nowhere? It sucks bad. I hate everything and everyone in this stupid... Woo! We'll skip over that. I've had it. I'm out. So one thing that we do discuss in my class is how to tackle hard subjects or bad language. So we're going to go to our next monologue, and then we'll discuss that a little bit in more depth. So let's take a look here. There we go. So re-looking at Josie, we're going to look at some clues to how we should portray this character. So to kneel at someone's feet is a pretty dramatic gesture. So this tells me that whatever it is, that she is super desperate to kind of get out of this boring situation. She wants some sort of rush in her life, like, traveling, being famous. She needs something. And she seems to kind of have this sort of small town mentality. So let's see here. She's excited and she's terrified. She seems to be someone who is kind of all over the place, like, but then this other thing, so that's pretty telling. And we can see that in the text here, where she's going, whoo, fast. My brain is going a million miles a minute. She's basically telling us how we should portray her. Now, I will say one of the issues that we run into a lot in my drama class is speaking too fast. And it's really funny because I am a fast talker. I will try to give you all of the information in like 2 seconds. So that's something that I have to watch myself. And that also constantly telling the kids, hey, make sure you slow down, make sure you enunciate your words. So let's get back into it. But here we, with this particular monologue, we want to have a good, quick pace, but still where we are spacing out and making sure to pronounce all of our letters. So let's take a look a little bit more. We're looking at Josie here. Okay. So she's excited, and then kind of goes into sort of angry, but when I'm reading this, I feel like she's still kind of enjoying the fact that she's got this attention. So let's see, anything else that's interesting here? This is things that kind of tell about the age. So she sat in her car, so she's old enough to drive. So we want to think, I'm thinking she would be between 16 and 18. The fact that she is underage and smoking is also pretty telling. Again, I think her and Bet would be an interesting duo. They both seem like the type that would get in a lot of trouble. Let's see here. Okay. So let's take a look at the third monologue, and this is the one I'm kind of thinking of uh, working on myself because I relate to this. So this one is called This Phone 2.0, The Next Generation, also by Lindsay Price. It's a comedy. Our description here, communication has come a long way, baby. Are you 21st century savvy? Text girl tries to decipher her boyfriend's text message. You know, I thought I was 21st century savvy until I started live broadcasting things, and then I'm like, maybe I'm still a little behind, but it's okay. So let's take a look at this monologue here. Now, one thing that I like to look at when I'm looking at a monologue is how to play with the language. We see here that we have this kind of text speak. So how do we pronounce that text speak? So that's one of the first things I would probably look at while I was looking at this particular monologue. Let's see here. All right, so have good D or have good die. Have good die. Spelling it out. HVGOODY. Have good die. He wants me to have good die. She sighs. I would like to formally announce the death of the English language. It just died on my cell phone. She points. There. Doornail. Dead. She blows out taps through her lips before running over to her phone and holding it up to the audience. This is a text from my boyfriend. Have good die. My mother has a shoebox in her closet of notes and letters and postcards and things written on napkins that Dad wrote to her over the years. She has tangible things that she can take out of her closet and wave in front of my face to show me how great a guy Dad was at one point. And just because he yells over the improper lining up of recycling bins doesn't mean he's a freak. She changes tangent. Why must the recycling bins be lined up gray, blue, green? Why is it a major tragedy when the bins are not lined up gray, blue, green? When I am bringing down the existence of life as we know it because I forgot to line those stupid freaking bins up gray, blue, green. My mother can show me a birthday card my dad sent to her when she was 20 years old that seriously melts my toes. Not because it's my dad, don't be gross. Because it's good old-fashioned love note from to a girl. On actual paper, I have no note. I'm supposed to have love. I have no note. I have dots on a screen that spell out have good D. My mother has notes. I have a decided lack of vowels. And what does this mean exactly? Have good D. Am I supposed to have a good day or a goo day, as in a day filled with goo, as in gooey pus? Does he want me to have a toxic pus-filled day? Is this a bizarre boy way of breaking up with me? Is Dane, my boyfriend, and I'm already extremely weirded out by the fact that his name is Dane. I'm going out with a guy named Dane. Is Dane trying to use as few letters as possible to give me the big kickoff? Is that what Dane is doing? I see his mother, Dane's mother, sometimes, and she's a pretty together woman. She works in marketing, and I seriously want to ask her why. Why did she? I stare at Mrs. Eckhart, and I'm dying to ask, why did you saddle your kid with such a retarded name? She slaps herself on the wrist. Sorry, that just came out. I'm trying really not to use the word retarded. I know it's a bad word. I know. But sometimes you have to use bad words to get your point across. Sometimes you have to use words. Full words, 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 words. Not short forms, not acronyms, words. Have a good day. Is that so hard? I do not want to LOL. I want to laugh out loud. I do not want to say BF. I want to say boyfriend. I do not want my love shorted. My word love shorted. My lovely word love has no passion, no spark, no joy, no nothing in LUV. I hate LUV. Just as much as I hate being told to have good D. She takes a deep breath and looks at her cell phone. Am I taking this too seriously? So this is another one that this is obviously a younger person. I think the good thing about this one is that I kind of feel like this could be someone who is either a teenager or maybe someone who's a younger adult. So let's dissect this one a little bit. So first of all, again, just taking a look at how we would want to pronounce this. So this is a decision you have to make. Do you want to say goody? Do you want to say have good day? how would you decide how to pronounce this? Let's see here. This passage right here, I'd like to formally announce the death of the English language. It just died on my cell phone. There, doornail, dead. Sort of a dry, kind of sarcastic sense there. Is how I would read that. Here, she blows out taps through her lips before running over to her phone and holding up to the audience. Now, if you're not familiar with taps, this is something that you would also have to think about. If you kind of run into this and it's just like, what is taps? So that is when I would probably go ahead and jump over to search. So we're going to look at Google real quick. We're going to look at taps song. So we're going to research. And research is a really important part of kind of doing any sort of acting. So we're looking here at taps, and we are going to listen to it real quick. This is taps performed in Arlington National Cemetery. Let's take a look at it here. Now, if you're listening to that, it either may or may not be familiar to you. It is actually fairly familiar to me because I've not only heard it in military settings, I've also heard it on cartoons. This is often a song that we hear in cartoons and movies when somebody or a character has died, or we're trying to be funny. Like for example, if Wile E. Coyote gets run over by a truck being driven by the roadrunner, then we might hear taps or something like that. So context and where we've heard these things is pretty important. So let's go back to our monologue. Let's see here. Okay. So she blows out taps. So that means that she's going burr, 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 with her voice. This is a text from my boyfriend. Have a good day. So this is really interesting here when she's talking about, comparing and contrasting her mother's relationship with her father and her relationship with her boyfriend. So my mother has a shoebox in her closet of notes and letters and postcards and things written on napkins. And then we kind of see how maybe he started off as someone who was really romantic, but then is kind of a stickler for the recycling bins. This is also something to pay attention to here, not just because it's a stage direction, but because this is a very clear change in the direction. It says she changes tangent. In case you're not familiar with that particular phrasing, to change a tangent is just to start going in a different direction with whatever it is that you're talking or you're thinking about. I go on tangents all the time. That's something I have to watch in my classroom because we will be talking about something and then, it'll turn into a funny story and then it will turn into something else. So it's important to note that she is changing the way that she is thinking. And then we kind of go into, again, this could be a teenager or a younger adult that's still living at home. So is it a major tragedy when the bins are not lined up gray, blue, and green? Kind of a, ugh, dad kind of sentiment. Let's see here. I have no note. I'm supposed to have love. So kind of her frustration with her boyfriend's lack of using the English language properly. Let's see here. And then we start spiraling here where she's kind of talking about how she's irritated about something and then going on into, what it could be if her boyfriend was more like her dad. So we're kind of going on a bit of an emotional roller coaster here. And then here we have, am I supposed to have a good day or a goo day? And she uses the word bizarre here, and her thinking is kind of bizarre because she starts going into you know, a toxic pus-filled day. Her superficiality over her name, over her boyfriend's name, is also pretty funny. Um, Extremely weirded out by the fact that his name is Dane. And then here she kind of uh, almost relaxes too much because she uses, a word that we, see as being in negative context here, which is the word retarded. So we, in my classroom, when we're talking about saying difficult words, because we've gone into Shakespeare and different things, like the use of the word damned as in a damned soul. So that's always really difficult. It reminds me of times that I've kind of gone to see. I went to go see Ann and Emmett, and I've also seen. I went to go see Ragtime, which was Gusta Players, Gusta Junior Players, and it was spectacular. But it's really funny because the use of the N word it pretty much gives me an audible gasp every time I hear it. Every time I hear the word, I'm like, so during a play and in theater, theater is a good place for us to explore subjects and explore things that are uncomfortable in a safe and respectful way. So even though if one of my students were to say that that word in my class, I'd probably be like, hey, not cool, we need to not say that. In theater and in context, it is a little bit different. So we'll keep looking at this monologue real quick. Go ahead and put it back on my screen. All right. So let's take a look a little bit further towards the end here. And sometimes you have to use words, full words, words. Now she's kind of going back into this idealization of language. So, and then am I taking this too seriously? Again, like a super emotional roller coaster with this particular monologue, but super fun nonetheless. So this one, again, I'm probably going to work on perfecting for my own entry into the online monologue festival. So my challenge to you guys is to check out some of these amazing resources and look for a monologue and try to dissect it and try to look for context and all that sort of good stuff. So that is that. And now that we've kind of looked through it, I'm going to read it for you, kind of the way that I would interpret this character. And then after that, we're going to look at some information about Beauty and the Beast. That was going to be our spring musical this year. As far as its fate, we don't know where we're going just yet, but I'm hoping we can pick up soon, because I know I miss my students, as many of my fellow teachers are kind of feeling the same way here. So we'll talk about that. Now, before we get into reading, let's take a look at this. This is another one of my favorite websites, BBB Press or Beat by Beat Press. So the tongue twisters here is a good way to warm yourself up, to warm your tongue and your teeth and your mouth up to get ready to pronounce. Another issue that we kind of tend to have in my classroom is the lack of diction, proper diction, lack of enunciation, and we tend to kind of gloss over our words. So this is one of the fun things that we do in order to kind of remind ourselves to pronounce everything. So this first one, Unique New York. That's a good one. I feel like that's the one I have the least amount of difficulty with. This one is actually my favorite right here. I do this with my homeschool students when we do drama. So when 1 was a racehorse, 2 2 was 1 2. When 1 1 1 1 race, 2 2 1 1 2. So these are really fun to just kind of repeat to yourself and help you get into your reading headspace. Red leather, yellow leather, that's one I tend to have a little bit of difficulty with. But when you're doing them, you want to make sure that you're pronouncing every syllable and that you're also in every consonant sound, and then read them and then start picking up the speed and see how you do. So we'll go to our monologue again, text girl. Okay, and we'll just do a quick read in a more dramatic fashion, not in the kind of the dry dissecting fashion that we were just doing. And then we are going to look at some other stuff. So just one. And we'll just do a quick read in a more. Sorry, I hit the live on my phone because I like to watch it on my phone, make sure everything's broadcasting properly. Alrighty, so let's go here. Okay. All right, I'm writing. Feeling dramatic. Have good die. Have good die. HVGOODY. Have good die. He wants me to have good die. I would like to formally announce the death of the English language. It just died. On my cell phone. There. Doornail. Dead. This is a text from my boyfriend. Have good die. My mother has a shoebox in her closet of notes and letters and postcards and things written on napkins that my dad wrote to her over the years. She has tangible things that she can take out of her closet and wave in front of my face to show me how great a guy dad was at one point. And just because he yells over the improper lining up of the recycling bins doesn't mean he's a freak. Why must the recycling bins be lined up gray, blue, green? Why is it a major tragedy when the bins are not lined up gray, blue, green? When I am bringing down the existence of life as we know it, because I forgot to line those stupid freaking bins up gray, blue, green. My mother can show me a birthday card my dad sent to her when she was 20 years old. It seriously melts my toes. Not because it's my dad. Don't be gross. Ugh. Because it's a good old-fashioned love note from a guy to a girl on actual paper. I have no note. I'm supposed to have love. I have no note. I have dots on a screen that spell out, have good die. My mother has notes. I have a decided lack of vowels. And what does that mean exactly? Have good die. Am I supposed to have a good day or a goo day? As in a day filled with goo? As in gooey pus? Does he want me to have a toxic, pus-filled day? Is this a bizarre boy way of breaking up with me? Is Dane my boyfriend? And I'm already extremely weirded out by the fact that his name's Dane. I'm going out with a guy named Dane. Is Dane trying to use as few letters as possible to give me the big kickoff? Is that what Dane is doing? You know, I see his mother, Dane's mother, sometimes, and she's a pretty together woman. She works in marketing, and I seriously want to ask her why. Why did she? I stare at Mrs. Eckhart, and I'm dying to ask, why did you saddle your kid with such a retarded name? Sorry, that just came out. I'm really trying not to use the word retarded. I know it's a bad word, I know. But sometimes you have to use bad words to get your point across. Sometimes you have to use words. Full words. Words, words, words. Not short forms, not acronyms. Words. Have a good day. Is that so hard? I do not want to LOL. I want to laugh out loud. I do not want to say BF. I want to say boyfriend. I do not want to have my word love shortened. My lovely word love has no passion, no spark, no joy, no nothing in LUV. Just as much as I hate being told to have a good day. Am I taking this too seriously? So thank you, bow. That is how I would read that particular passage, or at least just to start off with. And as you're reading your monologues, give it a try. Don't be scared. I think we all kind of feel silly when we are presenting ourselves, especially online. I'm a very behind the scenes person. I like to be the one that tweaks everything and makes it work and disappears into the shadows. So this is a little strange for me as well. But don't be afraid. Get out there, look up some good monologues, and show me what you got. Feel free to send video, comments, suggestions, anything like that, and I'll be happy to take a look at those in the next video. So right now, while we have about 20 minutes left, I want to take a look at researching a little bit more in depth, and we are going to look here at Beauty and the Beast. So when you are practicing for any part, or you're reading a play, or you're reading a piece of literature for the first time, one of the things that I suggest and that I've seen is just to do research about context, and about things that are happening around the play. What time period does the play or does the piece take place in? What is the culture like? What's the original language? These are all really good things to know in order to make a character as full and as authentic as possible. So we are on this website, pookpress.co.uk, and we're looking at the history of Beauty and the Beast. The tale of Beauty and the Beast, loved by so many, has been told the world over. Explore this enchanting tale's history to reveal its origins. So who wrote the original Beauty and the Beast? Here we cast our minds back to the aristocratic salons of 17th century France. The original story of Beauty and the Beast was written by Gabrielle Suzanne de Villeneuve. And then this is just kind of to go off on a tangent, which we discussed earlier. You always want to make sure that you look at proper pronunciation of things. And that's just to kind of honor the language that you're using or you're borrowing, and just so you kind of sound like you know what you're doing. Originally published in La Jeune Américaine et les Contes Marie. I'm just learning French now. I've been hitting Duolingo pretty hard I'm on an 80-something day streak, but I'm still a little rough on pronunciation. But the cool thing is, and when you're learning any new skill, one of my favorite things to kind of think about is like if you were going to learn piano, for instance, and you look at the piano and it's this mysterious object that you don't know how it works. But the more you learn, the more kind of that fog is lifted from whatever it is that's a mystery. So I'm kind of allowing the fog to lift on learning French. And I've gotten to the point where I've been listening to French podcasts and I've been able to pick up the gist of what they're saying. So that was really exciting. Another tangent. So here we are. Villeneuve's La Belle et la Bête was an original piece of storytelling. It was over 100 pages long and involved a stupid beast who suffered from more than just his change of appearance. In this original novella-length tale, the backstory of both Belle and the Beast is given. The Beast was a young prince who lost his father and whose mother had to wage war to defend his kingdom. The queen left him in the care of an evil fairy who tried to seduce him when he became an adult. When he refused, she transformed him into a beast. Belle's story reveals that she is not really a merchant's daughter, but the offspring of a king and a good fairy. The wicked fairy had tried to murder Belle so she could marry her father, the king, and Belle was put in the place of a merchant's dead daughter to protect her. That was definitely not in the Disney version, for sure. So that was the original tale of Beauty and the Beast, according to this site. Let's see here. The most popular Beauty and the Beast tale, apart from the Disney version, of course, readers are most familiar with the shortened tale by Jean-Marie Le Prince de Beaumont. Beaumont pared down the list of characters of Beauty and the Beast and simplified the tale to transform it into a quintessential fairy tale. The tale was first published in 1756 under the title La Belle et la Bête as a tale for the entertainment of juvenile readers. The changes Beaumont made to Villeneuve's tale tell another story too, reflecting the social concerns and political changes happening in France at the time. And then I do want to take a look at this artwork here. It's absolutely gorgeous. Just looking at the this really intense red on the on his leggings there. And then these patterns are absolutely gorgeous. Now, the oldest Beauty and the Beast story. It is thought by some scholars that Beauty and the Beast story may have a much longer history. It could be that it has roots in the tale of Cupid and Psyche, the ancient chronicle from the Latin novel Metamorphoses. This myth, written in 2nd century CE by Apuleius, is one of the oldest tales, and many believe it to be the first ever literary fairy tale. Now, in my class before, we've talked about the differences between the traditional Disney fairy tales that we see, or that we've seen in our lifetime, and the original versions of those fairy tales. One of my favorites is a Little Mermaid, because Little Mermaid, everything's great. Ariel beats Ursula, and that's woo. But in the original tale, she actually turns into sea foam because she, I think, Prince Ursula. Sorry, not Prince. I feel like Ursula wins it in that one. So look up the origins of fairy tales. Super crazy stuff. Especially when we're talking about ancient Greece and ancient Rome. That was some wild times. So not that I was there, I've heard. So let's go back and look at some more Beauty and the Beast. The tale is old as time. The ancient Roman tale starts with Psyche's banishment by the jealous Venus to a mountaintop in order to be wed to a murderous beast. Cupid is sent to destroy her, but instead falls in love and flies her way to his castle. There she is directed to never seek to see the face of her husband, who visits and makes love to her in the dark of night. Eventually, Psyche succumbs to her curiosity, but accidentally scars her husband with a candle. In an attempted atonement, Psyche offers herself as a slave to Venus and completes a set of impossible tasks. Completing the last task, seeking beauty from the queen of the underworld, Psyche opens the beauty in the box and at once falls into a coma. Overcome with grief, Cupid rescues her. He begs Jupiter so that she may become immortal, so that the two could be forever united. Woo! There's some serious stuff going on in ancient Rome. Some more absolutely gorgeous artwork on this website. Beauty and the Beast by Walter Crane. Here the beast kind of looks like something between a rat and a warthog. Beauty and the Beast illustration by Ann Anderson. Beauty and the Beast by W. Heath Robinson. And it's really interesting to see how different artists have kind of interpreted the tales. This reminds me almost of something out of Labyrinth, or out of the mind of Brian Froud. And then here, this one's, I love the muted colors there. It's very pretty. Okay, Beauty and the Beast from around the world. Myths and stories have traveled far and wide from generation to generation, and we find similarities in these tales from all corners of the world. The woman who married the snake closely reflects Cupid and Psyche at yet this first appearance in the Indian. Woo! So again, research your different languages. Panchatantra, a collection known to have existed in oral form well before it appeared in print in 500 AD. This helps explain later Beauty and the Beast stories, where the French beast is replaced by a snake in the Russian tale. Ooh, so many different languages. The enchanted Sarabik, and the Chinese tale of the fairy serpent. The beast appears as other creatures too. An English story by Sidney Oldall Addy, where the beast is a small-toothed dog, a Danish narrative of Beauty and the Horse, and the Swiss variant, The Bear Prince. The beast in the Italian tale of Zelinda and the Monster is also no ordinary beast either, but a fire-breathing dragon who requests the presence of the poor man's daughter. And here we have a quote from Zelinda and the Monster. All at once there appeared a terrible monster with the figure of a dragon and hissed with all his might. So some more gorgeous artwork here. So as you are looking at different plays, monologues, what have you, definitely take a look at historical context. The monologues that we looked at today are kind of sort of modern teenage takes on things in life. But on next Monologue Monday, I want to start looking at some more historical monologues from famous plays. And I realize it's Tuesday, but we're doing To Be Continued Tuesday because we had some technical issues with the audio yesterday. So I should be off the monologue soapbox tomorrow, and we will be doing something different tomorrow. But hopefully you guys enjoyed looking at these monologues with me. If you have any questions or suggestions for any future videos, let me know. Just some quick announcements. I have invited a couple of guest stars to join me in the coming weeks, either to do some pre-recorded videos and we can maybe do a watch party, or to do some co-hosting with me, including some makeup artists and prop builders. So hopefully we'll be seeing them on here soon. If you're interested in kind of guest starring with me and or submitting your own videos, your own instructional videos, please let me know. I will be happy to include you in on these feeds. But I think that's where we're going to go ahead and pause for today. That way, I've got a good 10 minutes to get my workout gear on, so we can dance with Mary at 3 o'clock. But yeah, I had fun looking at these monologues with you guys. Again, just let me know if there's anything that you want to see, and I will see you guys tomorrow. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your dreary rainy day if you're in the area, and stay safe. Bye.